I believe that the reason God created man was for management.
Really? I have never heard it put that way.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself.
God will never allow growth where there is no management.
Wow, wow, wow.
So instead of praying for things from God, pray for the management ability.
Everything I tell you is true. Everything I open my mouth and I say is correct because heaven directs me on what to say. Eligwe, Zemos in Zendidento. Heaven will tell me and I will tell you it will come to pass in front of your eyes. Not behind you, you will see it happening.
God will withhold things from you if you cannot manage them.
When you look at the facts that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments.
Vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness, yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority.
Anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
Excuse me. They can't tell me. No way. When the time comes, it's okay. What stupid country is this? So when it's just you try somebody's secret, when you like, you try a secret. When you like, it's in public. What stupid country is that? What stupid country is that, I ask you? When you like, you try in secret. When you like to try in private, they are killing my people. They are killing my people. They are killing They are killing my people. After killing my people, you tell me what to tell in secret? The person is mad. Completely mad. Tell Buhari, that's what I said. That he is mad. He cannot tell me. He cannot tell me. He's a madman. There's a contempt of court proceedings here. Contempt of court. They don't obey court order. They don't obey court order. You're telling me secret trial. Is the person mad?
I, Nnamdi Kanu, will sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure that Biafra comes.
We hereby declare no election, no 2023 general election in Biafra land. This no election in Biafra land has been activated. We are going to make it a task that must be done by every Biafran. All measures will be put in place to make sure the adequate civil disobedience is implemented to stop the election in Biafra land.
the meaning of discovery? It means to bring to light something that is buried on the ground. If you can accept that, then you know that Biafra is coming. There is nothing man can do about it. It's too late. Way, way too late. The countdown has begun.
Yes, it's an honor to have you here, everyone. Good to have you today. It's a special day, the week of the beginning of Biafra liberation. Thank you all for joining. I want to say, like, share right now on all your social media platforms. As we go on with the ride, we go quickly and we don't have time because our guest is actually very, very busy today, and he's having a limited time to do what he has to do. So quickly, I'm going to be bringing him on so that he can, quickly do what he has to do. And then because he has to talk to the United Nations, he has to talk to the international community, and he has lots of things to say today concerning the liberation program. And of course, I want to welcome you all. God bless you. Sending your messages. We can see your messages coming in. And those of you who are watching, we welcome you. Today is the 20th day of February 2023. 3 days to the total lockdown of Biafra land. Without wasting time, Prince, I say welcome to the program. Good to have you. I know in spite of how busy you are, you have decided to still join today and to talk to the people, to talk to the world, so that people like Katriona Lang and other people of the world will hear the voice of reason and do the right thing. Thank you so much. Please welcome Biafra people.
Thank you, Kelechi. As usual, we owe every thanks, every praise to our God, who continues to spare our lives and continues to give us all that we need for this moment in history that he has chosen Biafra to come. All honor, all glory, all adoration, all praise be unto his holy name. In Yeshua's name. Amen.
Sir.
Fellow Biafrans, I want to welcome you. I want to thank you. I want to give you my salute for your understanding of the call from Chukwokike that we must come to introduce what we know as human-friendly, human-compatible narratives, modules, constructs, ideologies, theories that are meant for humanity. That we must introduce these and rid ourselves of the animal-infested narratives and concepts that had driven this world to madness. I welcome you all, and I ask that you invite whoever, even our enemies, because the message of salvation is for them too. In fact, they need it more than we do, because every soul is important to God. Let them come and let them listen, so that tomorrow they will not plead ignorance of the truth, and they will not say that the truth never spoke to them. I welcome you, and I thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you for that well-delivered introduction and setting us on the right pace to what we are going to be discussing today. And today we have the news that the Labour Party has collapsed in the Northwest into APC. Well, that's their business. We are not concerned about their election. We are concerned about our freedom, which we are carrying out very expressly this week from the 23rd. There will be total lockdown of Biafra land. But we want to talk to the international community today let's call it the way they call it, international community. They call it international community because they believe it's a community, and whereas everybody is far apart. We want to talk to them. We have people like Catriona, who is now working with INEC, and of course on the payroll of the federal government of the fraudulent Nigeria. At the same time, we have Blinken, we have Trump, sorry, not Trump now, what's the name? The Biden. We have we have the UK Prime Minister. We have different nations of the world that know about the issues of Biafra. Today we see that Finland is fronting the real cause of understanding that we need our freedom. I'm going to play a particular video reminding the world and reminding our viewers the longing of the United Nations. Even if we know sometimes they do all these things just for their political and gimmicks and all of that, we know that they always have a way of just trying to sell a narrative as if they are concerned about freedom. But if they are concerned about freedom and if they are concerned about truth, then it simply means that the first thing they're going to grab is the freedom of Biafra. I'm going to play that video to remind you so that it can set a pace for us, what we're going to be talking about today. And then you're going to take it up from there. And I want you to begin to talk to the world right now as you want to talk to them. I don't want to ask an outright question, but I want this video to pose the question, and then you take it up from there. Please, everyone, look at this video and let's reason together.
I want to seek your help with an important initiative, the development of a new agenda for peace. Achieving lasting peace is why the United Nations was created. But today, with the growing number of violent conflicts around the world and the deepening divisions among states, we're struggling to deliver on that promise. We are preparing a new agenda for peace to help chart a path forward, to help rebuild multilateral action for peace. We want to hear your priorities and suggestions, your ideas on how we can address the threats we are facing, and on how UN member states can come together to build collective responses. We encourage civil society groups and representatives from around the world to submit your ideas to the email address newagendaforpeace@un.org in any of the 6 UN official languages. Your participation is essential. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
They are struggling to deliver peace to the world.
You know, when you understand the issues, your heart is pained. Your heart, your stomach rumbles. I think I have to begin by telling all of these headless chickens, because that's what they are, headless chickens, because they need to know they are headless chickens. They need to know it. Look, there is no other word. They are headless chickens. We need to tell them from the start that if they want the world to become better, first of all, they must remove and allow everyone to remove anything, anywhere in this world where there is a name introduced by a stranger, by a foreigner, a name that puts a set of people at odds with the national identity of their ancestors. That is the starting point. Because even animals, dogs don't take names from strangers. Dogs only take names from their owners. That is the first evil these people have committed. Because with that in itself tells you that they were the ones that laid the foundations for this chaos. For the things they're asking you to come, let's try and find a way to manage. How can the propellants and the architects of evil become the solution to a problem? Is it possible that a poisoned wine will suddenly become good for consumption? The only advice I have for them for now is that they must allow Biafra to come. They must allow Oduduwa nation to come. Because it is from these places that the real solutions that they need to solve their problems will come. They are looking in the wrong places for answers. I thank God that you refer to them as international community. The truth remains that the word in itself does not exist, because you can't have international community that is totally not local to any other community. It just does not make sense. You can't be an international community on your own. How does it work? Who is it made up of? Isn't it why they had all these Mickey Mouse institutions like ICC, all these things, and they are only for a particular set of people, and others are immune? So we are looking at an engine with various parts. And the nature of an engine is such that every part is there to do something useful for the engine. Every part has something unique to contribute. And the other fact is that there is no part in the engine that cannot develop a fault. And when a fault arises, it calls for either repair or replacement. But in this particular engine called the world, humanity, some people assigned perfection to themselves, even when they are the creators of all the problems. They decided to make themselves exclusive, never developing fault, never subject to repair nor replacement. And they decide what happens to the rest of the parts of the engine. Now, if that's not insanity, then I can assure you that psychiatry does not exist. And if psychiatry exists, then I can tell you that in the end, everybody will come around to agree with me that psychiatry is simply a fraud against the weak, the vulnerable, and obviously the poor. Because psychiatry has failed to have any provision whatsoever for the real people that needed it most. And the people that needed this most is these people who, as part of an engine, have decided to brand themselves perfect, even though they are the real problem. And I tell you that everybody has to listen to them because they own a world they only came into because two strangers had sexual intercourse. A world they came to know just because strangers that never knew them just happened to have sexual intercourse. And they came in totally empty-handed, very vulnerable, to the extent that they needed other people. They needed other people to nurture them into survival. The same people who came empty and must depart this world empty began to claim ownership of the world, and they are the ones that will tell everybody else, irrespective of the autonomy, irrespective of your uniqueness, irrespective of all the differences in you that should help them, irrespective of all these, they now say it is only what they say and how they think that everybody must follow. If that is not absolute madness, then the word madness does not exist. So I want to remind all of them, I want to tell all of them, on this hallowed platform where only the truth can go forth, want to remind them that they are ill-informed, they are misinformed, they are misguided, they are insanely arrogant, and they have subscribed to evil animal concepts given to them by their parents and ancestors, to the extent that they have become so blind that all they can see are natural resources. Natural resources they don't know that have no meaning unless you and I, human beings, give meaning, give name, give value to them. The same people, these people need to know that they are so crazy because they are the ones that tell you that you cannot destroy the geese because of their golden eggs. But they have formed a habit of killing people, destroying the real agents that give rise to all the things they can see, in preference to what mortal beings, human beings, have deposited on earth. The things we have only recreated but never created. The things that we met here on this earth. The things we must leave here when we depart. These people are sick, and we have to keep reminding them that they are sick, because that's what they are, and we're saying it so that they can allow us to come and treat them and bring them to sanity. Because what they keep forgetting is that even though they will tell you that they are exercising their free will, they forgot that the reason for free will is simply because God allowed us conscience. They forgot that that conscience is with us and within us because there is mandatory consequences. Animals don't have that. That's why a lion will just grab a child and eat it, because lions and animals depend on what nature and or human beings provide for them. No animal has the capacity to cultivate, let alone reproduce what they eat. So they don't have conscience, and they are not going to be faced with any consequences. But in each mortal being, in each human being, God has given something unique, given a seed, given the soil, given unique crops to cultivate, to reproduce, to multiply. From location to location, these are different crops, different things. God has given each of us unique gifts and limitations so that we can collaborate, so we can cooperate, so we can complement and partner with other people to replenish this earth and to enjoy this world temporarily, because we're only here on a temporary mission to work and to leave for tomorrow a better life for those who will occupy this world. These things are so transparently clear, but because of the insanity on their minds, this so-called international community, they can't see it. Remember, they are not the ones that are insane. Africans that agree with them are also insane. I wrote something this morning where I was trying to get people to actually remember what is happening between Africa and Africans and the rest of the world. Where these so-called international community have actually organized themselves as higher animals and have this belief, this insane belief, that they have to destroy Africa, they have to steal, they have to kill, they have to disorganize Africa for their survival. And you have Africans they have employed and deployed. Some of them are motivational speakers, the biggest of them. Some of them are pastors. Some of them are the ones that you go to listen to. They've empowered them to convince you that China, Britain, France, Europe, America, and all these people, that they have to come and do what they're doing in Africa, because without Africa they will not survive. Because that's what they want you to hear. That's what they want you to believe as a justification for their evil. And the people telling you this are more evil than them. Because these are people who have no understanding of the constructs of the propelling agents in humanity. These are people who are blind to the fact that you can't be better unless I am better. That you cannot actually harness anything in you if you are not willing to take from me what is unique in me, because we are unique so that we can exchange. You even see that in identical twins, because inside every identical twin there is something unique, because God made it that way so they can serve one another. If that can be so in identical twins, now think about those who are physically different. Okay, these are people who are blind, who are operating within the animal constructs, whereby in the wild it is all about survival of the fittest. It's all about what human beings, mortal beings, and or nature throw at animals that cannot cultivate, that cannot make their own food. So you have all these so-called powerful motivational speakers rolling around telling you, oh, well, China has to come and do this. This person has to come and do this. Oh, because, you know, without Africa, they were dead. It's a lie, because we know that God did not create anybody without giving them something unique to bring forth. God did not leave any human being, any community, any country, any continent without. God did not do that. And you know it is true. So I'm urging Biafrans to open their eyes from today and know that whenever you hear somebody looking like you, trying to justify what these people are doing in Africa, that person is an agent. That person is an evil person. Forget about how plausible their speeches are. Stop clapping for them. Tell them to get off and get out, because they are the ones that have been used to brainwash you into this silly belief that a human being's survival can be dependent on destroying another human being. It's a lie. It's madness. In fact, in the contrary, your survival is dependent on the survival of the other, because that is what is in operation. That is what is operational in humanity. Only in animal kingdom do we have survival of the fittest, not in the human construct. And it's important we understand these things. We don't advocate for humanity for nothing. There is a reason why we have come. There's a reason why God has put the ideas, the true ideologies inside us. And it's for Biafrans to harness this and spread it to the world, so that for a change, humanity will come to its glory. God created this world and gifted this world with limitless resources. None of these resources can be actually activated without mortal beings, because everything to do with the activation of any resource in this world is embedded in the unique gifts God had given each and every one of us. That is what Katrina Lang and all these idiots, because that's what they are, cannot see, because they are blind. Not only physically, they are also blind. In fact, it's more physical than spiritual even. They can't see anything. They can't see. They want to drink crude oil until they die. And they haven't asked themselves, where are their ancestors that began this? And let me warn all of you, because you need to know this. Because of the way of operation, because of this evil way of operation, they have set in Africa periodic genocide. So you know it, periodic. So it doesn't matter how many you are, they have this agenda embedded, periodic genocide. That's why you hear somebody like Prince Williams who will come and tell you that Africa have too many people and the population is now threatening wild animals.
Very
The
horrible.
man,
Very horrible.
this young man is so blind, he doesn't even have the understanding that Africa is meant to be or had been designed to be a continent. That means multiples of country in one place. Yet, the continent itself has less people living in it than one singular country, China.
Correct. Correct.
One China. But this guy is actually, you can see what happens to the brain of a human being when they fail to understand what human beings are here to do. They'll begin to prefer animals. In fact, fight for animal rights, okay, and wish Africans dead in order to protect animals. That is the level of madness that can grip anyone who believes that they are higher animals.
Now, let me say, from what you have said right now, is it not obvious that the call for peace in the world is actually a deceit or a manipulation to make it look like there is this need for peace, especially restoring Africa, because now for them to prefer animals, you know, to human beings in Africa, and knowing that you know, complaining about Africa being populated and all of that, and yet they are calling for peace, whereas they are fueling genocide.
Yeah, look, everything they do is manipulation. Yes. Everything they do is fraudulent. Everything they do is littered with deceit. Let me tell you, their call for peace is just a way to make you believe that they are doing something or they are about to do something. The only thing they are doing, and they are currently will continue to do, is the pursuit of destruction of Africa for their need, for their crazy needs, because these are not genuine needs. I want you to know that this call is the same type of call you had somebody like Justin Welby making as the Archbishop of Canterbury, pretending to be remorseful about slavery when he knows that the slavery is on. Okay, so he's trying to make you believe, oh, we want to we apologize for what happened in the past, when they are doing even more right now. Okay, yes. So you can now relax that and say, oh, well, I think the Archbishop of Canterbury has understood. Oh, they are trying to do something. Just be patient. They're going to come to your rescue. Of course, for him to be talking about giving 100 million, whatever, and all lies. These are all camouflage. These are all hypocrites, as Christ said about these lunatics. These are a bunch of vampires. Okay, and you know, you look at all these people saying this. You ask, how old are these people? How long have they got still on this earth? I look at myself and I'm saying, oh my God, I don't have much more to stay on this planet. And why can't I begin to initiate ideas that can help future generations to live better? I mean, it's been a rough ride in this world. I've seen so much that have depressed my soul. Do I really want future generations to carry on in this madness? All these people are so insane, they can't even look inwards. Look at that woman that just spoke now and ask yourself, this woman at least is more than 60 years. How? This is bizarre. This is just bizarre. The truth is that God gifted this world. If you calculate the amount of resources being wasted through even these wars they are fighting, if you are told the amount each of these bombs they are throwing, and the resources these people are damaging, honestly, if you look, okay, let's just be modest. If you put together all the country's military budget, yeah, it will cure all the poverty you have around this world. Forget about the damage they are doing with all these bombs. Just the budget of every nation's military, security, whatever. If you put them together, yeah, there'll be no poverty anywhere in the world. God fully resourced this world. We are suffering today because those that God has given unique talents to unearth certain things that will feed the world are already being killed, because these people are killing you just because of where you come from. They don't know your content. They don't know anything about, they don't even know their own content. They don't know what a lot of the things in themselves, they don't know it. So they are judging you based on what they are thinking about you.
Yeah, I think they are killing us because they don't even know what they carry. Because they think that killing us will help them get, whereas they don't know what they have.
Look, the more you understand what is going on, the more frustrated you are, the more depressed you are, the more sorry you feel for these people. These are sick people. Look, the level of sickness is something that has driven somebody like Katrina Lang, whose primary responsibility, actually, as an ambassador, is to ensure good diplomatic relationship between herself and Nigeria. That is, if she views Nigeria as a nation, a sovereign nation. Okay, that is her work. And also to protect the interest of British citizens living in Nigeria. That means even if a British citizen commits the most heinous crime in Nigeria, she has a duty towards that citizen to ensure that that citizen gets justice. Okay? Gets justice. That is her duty. But look at what she has done with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who today carries a British passport. Even though Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is innocent and have been freed, this woman had ignored her primary responsibility, and all she is doing is venturing into election by becoming not only an INEC staff, but also the internal minister for information and for Nigeria. And she had become so many. This, in fact, look, I'm not only embarrassed for her, I'm embarrassed for whoever calls himself the Prime Minister of Britain. I'm embarrassed for British government. I'm embarrassed for somebody like Justin Welby, who says that he is Archbishop of Canterbury and a religious man, because they are all seeing what Katrina Lang is doing. They know what she's doing. In fact, don't be surprised that, of course, Katrina Lang is working within the foreign policies of UK. So the embarrassment is too much. I feel ashamed. I just feel ashamed. And I've warned all of you, and I've warned humanity. And I need you to note this down. If you are a student, note it down. I want you to know that every word, please take note of this. Don't forget it. Every word, spoken or written, I hope you're hearing me carefully and properly. Every word, spoken or written, is a letter. You know letter? It's a letter. Now, that letter has no other stamp other than silence to post it and get it flying. So, especially if that word, written or spoken, is evil, it's evil intended, it's wrong, the only stamp it requires is silence for it to function, for it to go to wherever you want it to go.
Right.
So if you're remaining silent when evil is spoken, when evil is written, when evil is intended, you have become the stamp, and you have become the supporter, the encourager, the green light provider for that evil to be propelled and to be accomplished. So don't think that your silence makes you innocent. Rather, your silence is actually making you guilty and fully responsible for whatever consequences that comes from that evil word, spoken or written. I thank you.
I have two questions to ask you. I know you don't have time, but let me just put this to you through to you now. Talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you just mentioned it. It's one of those things I wanted to ask you, and you just mentioned it. Now, the world is talking about peace, and the world is knowledgeable about an innocent freedom fighter who is standing for a very critical nation called Biafra, of which we are demanding for freedom, of which they have numerous letters from United Nations and all of that. Now, first, I want you to look into this. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents peace, and the woman here is asking for peace, of which she defined the United Nations by their objectives. Or by the objective. She said the objective is to restore peace, to nations. And that is why they're called United Nations, of which we know they are not united. Now, why do you think they have to look away from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Or do you think they, they think that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they don't know the implication of holding back Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in that contraption called Nigeria? Does it mean they don't know the implication of holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or don't they know that holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is another way of chaos, disaster, and destruction in that contraption?
Let me put it this way. Let me make it very simple. The mere fact that Nnamdi Kanu is illegally held, okay, makes it obvious that these people are evil in talking about peace and asking you to write in, okay? In fact, it confirms that they are only playing games with your minds, okay? Because there are obvious things like release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that is practical, obvious practical things these people should make sure happens before they even start inviting you to write in. How can you, in fact, everything about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu encapsulates everything we are talking about, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents the violation of international law, international order,
correct,
national order, and local orders of the world. From the way he was kidnapped, okay, to the way he was detained, where he is detained, yeah? Everything you see in Nnamdi Kanu, okay, summarizes all the evils of the world. Now, for anyone to be ignoring the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and inviting you for peace talk, and inviting you to write in, that is the height of gimmicks. That is the height of betrayal. That is the height of deceit. That is the very height of enslavement. And it's only those who haven't got clarity of thought that will not understand this. So, if these people are real, they must start with releasing Nnamdi Kanu immediately. That is the first step in peace. And it's important we let them know that that is the first step in peace. Because today, Nnamdi Kanu is an embodiment of the violation of everything that is peaceful in humanity. I hope you're getting the point. I'm sorry, my time is up. I've got to go, but I hope you note this down. So I thank you all very much. I've got to go.
Thank you so much for your time. We're going to have you, of course. I think it's going to begin. The lockdown begins on Thursday, and we hope that we can still talk before then, before the lockdown, so that we can talk.
Thank you, and keep up the good work. And bye to my fellow Biafrans.
Bye now. We'll have you. Yes. Thank you so much. You have heard from Prince Ezem Ihenacho, and he has given us, vivid explanation, to these things. And one thing, basically, is that the globe wants peace, but they are playing games with the concept of peace, the principles of peace. And you have heard them from Prince Ezem Ihenacho. Now, I want you to understand that first, what we are doing this week, the lockdown, is to initiate that peace and to bring about that peace that the world needs. United Nations, I'll play that video again one more time, and then I'll just take you for just 10 or 5 minutes, and then we round up for today, waiting and looking up to tomorrow also, and then we'll continue this now.
I want to seek your help with an important initiative, the development of a new agenda for peace. Achieving lasting peace is why the United Nations was created. But today, with the growing number of violent conflicts around the world and the deepening divisions among states, we're struggling to deliver on that promise. We are preparing a new agenda for peace to help chart a path forward, to help rebuild multilateral action for peace. We want to hear your priorities and suggestions, your ideas on how we can address the threats we are facing, and on how UN member states can come together to build collective responses. We encourage civil society groups and representatives from around the world to submit your ideas to the email address newagendaforpeace@un.org in any of the 6 UN official languages. Your participation is essential. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Now, she talked about new agenda for peace, which means there was an initial agenda, and now they want a new agenda. And on the basis of the initial agenda, I'm talking to the United Nations now and the world at large, because I know they're going to watch this video. Their agents will watch this video and they're going to get feedback from it and all of that. So now, according to the program of the United Nations and the agenda which they talked about, they said the United Nations was designed to restore peace or to bring about peace in the nations. And of course, this came about after the Second World War, where they had to, do what they have to do to bring about peace. And now, which means that when they talked about that peace, the concept or the initiative for peace, they actually had an agenda. And now they are talking about a new agenda. Under the auspices of the old agenda, there had been petitions upon petitions upon petitions, especially on the issue of Biafra and the contraption called Nigeria. We have written lots of letters to the nations. We have written lots of letters to the ICC, to the United Nations. Of course, ICC and all of that have been part of the United Nations. We have written lots of letters to Britain, to UK, to US, and to many nations of the world under the auspices of the initial agenda they had, or they have. And under this agenda, they actually would have been able to pinpoint the facts that are very instrumental for them to get and to make sure that peace is evident and peace presides over the affairs of the nations of the world. From the documents we have submitted, we have told them about Boko Haram, we have told them about the dangerous diversity in Nigeria, we have shown them videos and evidences of the killings and the fact that we are not compatible under the concept of Nigeria and how Nigeria is destroying and killing lives and the genocide under Nigeria. In fact, they even have the notion, and they have not even a notion anyways. Yes, they have the template of what transpired during the civil and the genocidal war against Biafra. Under the old agenda, they have all of this program, and yet they have refused to do anything about it. They have refused to say anything about it, and it has come to the climax where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped and extraordinarily renditioned to the zoo, and these same people didn't do anything about it under the old agenda. And now we now have the concept, of what we are doing right now in restoring our peace and bringing about peace by the idea which we expected them to have propagated. Now, what we are doing right now, insisting on referendum and saying that we are not going for any other election other than the concept of referendum, voting for referendum, is what the United Nations have been told about several times, that it will bring peace. Is what the United Nations knows that factually it would bring peace because they know what it means to have dangerous diversity. But because Nigeria was created by Britain and designed by Britain, the United Nations, of course, being under the archives, sorry, not under the archives, no, under the umbrella or under the stooge and the stronghold of Britain, because America came out of Britain and most of the nations have their obeisance to Britain. And because Britain is involved, nobody is actually looking at the concept of bringing down this construct of British design, which has held the nations and which has kept peace away from the nations of the world. And so this concept and this whole thing already, is in their palms. They have the information, they have the details, they have everything that it takes to understand all of these. We have given them the concept, we have given them the initial information and everything they need, which under the initial program of the United Nations, they would have been able to do what they need to do to make sure that peace is restored in the world. They refuse to do that. And on that now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been kidnapped. Suddenly, they now come up. You hear the woman talking about restoration, bringing about peace, a new dimension or a new template for peace. Now, a new agenda for peace. Now, how can you talk about a new agenda when on your old agenda, you were given the solution to the matters? You refused to look at the solution. You never implemented the solution, and you are talking about a new agenda. Now, it doesn't make sense because the first thing I need to do before I begin to ask for extra support is to first take an action. If I am told to do, if for instance, you go to get a loan, what they do is that they want to, and you have a contract, they look at what you have done initially and how you are able to service the loan, and look at the contract, how you have done the contract and what you have done and how you have done it and how good you have done it. And then people can talk about, okay, let's support this person have done it initially and they have been able to do it very effectively. So the United Nations should understand that they have the solution to these problems because we have given them the ideas. What they need to do before asking for a new agenda is to implement the solutions we gave to them on the old agenda. How can you be talking about new agenda or new design when you have not even applied the old design? Because you have to apply it to see where the problem is or where the mistake will be or where, the things will go wrong. And from what goes wrong, you begin to now talk about re-establishing facts or principles to help design, to recreate and to redesign. So if United Nations, under the auspices of what you have given to them initially, and under the auspices of the evidences of genocide of Biafra people against Biafra people, genocide happening all over Africa, and the things that have been done to us, even at the genocidal war, that's Nigeria initiated, Britain as a proxy against Biafra people. If we have been giving them all of these things and all these evidences and all the things we have been telling them to do, they have refused to implement them in the old agenda. Why are they asking us to submit documents again for a new agenda? Because the only thing we can submit is what we have submitted initially. And so we are calling on the United Nations, and we are trying to make them understand that this concept of no election in Nigeria has been one of the concepts and one of the things we have been talking about. We cannot endorse Nigeria again because Nigeria does not favor us. Nigeria does not do anything good for us. And so they should join forces and retrace their steps right now, coming right now before things get out of hand from Thursday the 23rd, when we're going to stop the election in Nigeria. They should know that coming and bringing observers, election observers, is not the solution. These have been the norm, the usual thing they have been doing. Bringing election observers into the contraption to observe an election is not the solution to the problem. Election is not the solution to the problem. We have been saying it several times to the international community. We have told you that we are no more interested in staying in Nigeria because we're not compatible and Nigeria is not designed to make us progress. But because of your wickedness, your thieving programs, your plundering programs, you don't want to listen to us. You want to pretend you don't know what we are talking about. You want to pretend you don't know what we are saying. You want to pretend you don't know that we are being killed. You want to pretend you don't know what is happening to us. You want to pretend you don't know that we have given you the solution by the advice we have given to you and by the things we have told you while we are dying. We've been in the problems, telling you what we are going through and telling you how it can be solved. We have given you the solutions, but you have refused to utilize these solutions, and now you're coming to tell us now that you need more you want us to give you ideas, on how you can solve these problems, whereas we are already giving you the ideas on the old agenda you have about the United Nations. If your agenda for the United Nations is peace, we have given you the template to peace. We have given you everything that is needed and all the ideas and all the evidences against us and the things happening to us in Nigeria. We have shown you all that you need to have, and we have shown you that Nigeria is not favorable. Nigeria is suicidal. Nigeria is a death trap. Nigeria is the killing program or agenda against the indigenous people. If we have given you these evidences and you have not utilized them as United Nations, and yet you're asking us for a new program or new ideas, then something is wrong somewhere. It simply means that you are playing games here with us. It simply means that you are not interested in what is happening to us, because we cannot give you the whole ideas of what we are going through, and yet what you are insisting on is to conduct election on that same program that is killing us. We have told you that Nigeria is a killing program. We have told you that Nigeria is a problem. We have told you how dangerous Nigeria is to the indigenous people. You know, we have told you all of this, but yet you still want to conduct election in that same Nigeria we have told you is killing us. Where you still want to conduct election in that same Nigeria that's killing us. It is unacceptable. So United Nations, take your election observers away, recall Nigeria, and tell Nigeria to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Tell Nigeria to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is the beginning of peace. So this call for peace, new agenda for peace you are calling for, is not possible unless you implement the ideas we have given you under the auspices of the old agenda.
I want to seek your help with an important initiative, the development of a new agenda for peace. Achieving lasting peace is why the United Nations was created. But today, with the growing number of violent conflicts around the world and the deepening divisions among states, we're struggling to deliver on that promise. We are preparing a new agenda for peace to help chart a path forward, to help rebuild multilateral action for peace. We want to hear your priorities and suggestions, your ideas on how we can address the threats we are facing, and on how UN member states can come together to build collective responses. We encourage civil society groups and representatives from around the world to submit your ideas to the email address newagendaforpeace@un.org in any of the 6 UN official languages. Your participation is essential. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
You see, watching the woman talk is just amazing, because sometimes you wonder how hypocritical people can be. How can you tell us about a new agenda for peace when we have given you the design and the program that will help us resolve and get things restored so that there can be peace? How can you be pursuing election on what we have told you that is killing us? That is why you should understand that United Nations, you should understand this. This week, we have decided to take our destiny in our hands. We are going to lock down Biafra land. What we expect from you is to heed to the voice of the people. The voice of the people is that we no more endorse Nigeria. We know that Nigeria was created by Britain. We know that Britain is part of the United Nations. Of course, we know they are not united. What brings them together is how they are going to make money for themselves. You are not united, we know that. You are giving yourself a false name, United Nations. We know it's a deceit, but we are telling you, we know Britain is part of it, and that is why Britain is not making you endorse the dissolution of Nigeria. That is why you are still holding on to Nigeria. But we want to tell we want to speak to the conscience of the nations that are trapped in that name, that umbrella called United Nations, because you are all trapped there. You are trapped there because you are being controlled by resources. You are being controlled by natural resources that is coming from Africa. You are only created and formed because you want to have a common interest on how you have partitioned and divided Africa so that you can continue to steal the resources of Africa. Because that is why you have you don't have African nations as permanent members. You call yourself permanent members because you are the ones who own United Nations, and United Nations means a group of people who have come to plunder Africa. And that is why, that is the only thing that unites you, to plunder Africa. But we are telling you today that we are no more interested in that program that you created to plunder Africa. That program called Nigeria. That name Nigeria is like a microchip. It's like a microchip that is designed and put into a thing to corrupt it, or put into a thing to get information. You have put it into the confines of the indigenous people, and you are using that chip to steal from the people. And you don't want that chip and to be dead. And all of you are registered on the United Nations, is registered in that chip, and that chip is stealing our resources. That chip is taking what belongs to us. That chip is stealing what belongs to us. That chip is killing us. That chip is causing death of great people that Chukwokike has created. That chip is a destructive concept against indigenous people trapped in that concept of that chip called Nigeria. We are telling you, United Nations, the reason why you were formed is because you have come together, not because you are talking about peace, not because you meant peace, not because you were designed to bring peace. No, that peace you are talking about, we know what it means. The peace is that you have divided Africa in your own way, and each of you have a part you have to. So the division, I mean, the dividing of Africa, and you having your own place, and each nation having their own place, and you having your own place, and how you're going to steal, is what you call peace. Because in the concept of peace now, you have resolved how the resources of Africa will be shared. And that is what the peace is about. So all these games, all these designs, all this, that is why you have representatives, or what you call election observers. Because if you truly want peace, you will not send election observers. You will be calling for a referendum. Why is it that we have to write over and over and over and over? We have written and written for years. You didn't respond to it. Now you're coming to tell us again to bring ideas for a new agenda for peace under United Nations. When the initial design, or the initial reason United Nations was created, is to plunder Africa. In fact, you must first dissolve United Nations and change the principles before we know you're serious. Because telling us to bring more ideas is simply, what you are trying to do is that you want to see how you are going to redesign the program so that Africa people will still not see very well. How you can blindfold them. That is what you are trying to do now. The new agenda here now is not for, if you know the solution, you know that all you need to do is to hands off Africa and allow Africa and the people to decide their fate, or to decide what they want. You know that. You know that is the solution. United Nations, you know this. You know that. But yet, you don't want to follow that path because you know that that path would stop your thieving program, your plundering program, and that your greed will stop, that your greed will not be satisfied. Because the only thing why what you are doing, the only reason why you are doing what you're doing is because of your greed and the fear that you cannot survive unless you are greedy. That you cannot survive unless you steal other people's resources. You believe that the only way, you just want to get more, and you don't want to get those things legitimately. United Nations. The reason why you were created is to plunder Africa. And now you are telling us that you need a new agenda. And we know that that new agenda is just another kind of program that you want people to bring. When people bring the truth, you keep it aside. And when people bring another way that you can recreate your design and how to steal, you would accept it and take it. And then you want to see how you can try to still redesign your program and still be stealing our resources, and the people not knowing it. This time around, putting us more into illusion so that we don't decode that you are still stealing, but you are stealing. That's what you want, not the truth. Because if you want the truth, you would hands off Africa and you would tell Nigeria to conduct referendum, because that's what the people want. But we are telling you, United Nations, the best thing you can do for yourself right now, if you don't want chaos in your own nations, if you don't want your own nations to be destroyed, is to take back your election observers, send delegates, or convert them to representatives to meet the Nigeria contraption sham government, and tell them to turn this issue or this program of election to a referendum. Tell them to change it to a referendum, or else what is coming for Nigeria would also affect you in your place. Because we have decided, I know that you guys you come give and take, you always believe that you're going to make money. Because when Nigeria gets into chaos now, you're going to sell your arms. You're going to sell your weapons. So whether there's election and there's fighting, the weapons will be bought. Whether there's no election and there's fighting, weapons will be bought. So you're playing games around the minds of the people. You're playing games around the minds of Africans. You know that Biafra is the light. You know that Biafra will bring about the freedom of Africa. And you must go that lane. United Nations, you must go that lane. You must go that lane. That is the path to peace. So this lasting peace you are looking for, which we know that the part we're looking at, or the aspect of it we're looking at, is not what you truly mean. Because we know that your lasting peace means that bring another concept that will help us to steal, but the people will not know very well, or the people will believe in illusion. The people will not notice that we are stealing, but we will still be stealing. Just like what you did with the so-called independence. You looked at it critically and you saw that the people are beginning to rise, the people are getting angry, the people are getting angrier, and you said, okay, let's give you independence, but you recreated the design. The agenda was changed. Rather than direct slavery or direct control of the people, you now did an indirect control of the people using neocolonialism. That means using the proxies, the Fulanis, who have conquered one part of the Hausa kingdom, and using them as a means of controlling that agenda or that chip called Nigeria, that criminal chip called Nigeria. And then when they control it, they help you steal resources. And then you are still controlling Africa by taking the control of their resources, putting them in poverty, and making sure that their best brains go to your nations to build your nations, and their best brains are taken. The poor keeps looking for food to eat until they die. People are struggling. Nobody is concerned. People are looking for food to eat, so they are no more thinking of how they're going to free themselves. They are just looking for a way of survival. You put Africans in the mood of survival, thinking of survival, because you feel that when you keep them in that mood, you are going to have them submissive to your will and your dictates. That is why you are using the Nigeria contraption government to make the people suffer. Look at how the people are suffering right now. Scarcity of funds. They can't even access their funds. Somebody having only 5,000 in account. Sorry, please. Somebody having only 5,000 in account will have to pay 1,000 to get 5,000. That money is short. And what would 5,000 buy for them? So you are using Fulani as a means of colonizing the people. And now you are seeing that the people are rising and refusing to accept this neo-colonialism. You now want a new design, a new program that will help you to still steal from the people without the people knowing it. You want another strategy. That's what you're asking for. Not because you want solution or peace. You want another strategy for your stealing program. And we're telling you, if you mean business, then tell Nigeria to stop the election and let there be referendum. Let referendum be conducted. As soon as referendum is conducted, you will see the peace that you are talking about. Why not try it? Why talk about a new agenda when you have the solution on the old agenda? Why ask for a new agenda? Because there is a solution that is in the old agenda. We have given you the solution. Divide that contraption. Let the indigenous people go as nations and govern themselves. Let the indigenous people grow themselves, develop their nations, and take their destinies in their hands. Why hold us under Nigeria and you are talking about peace when you know that you are the problem and you are the war that we are seeing? You are the one bringing the chaos. We have to get this right this time around. United Nations must get it right. And the conscience of those nations. And I tell you, if you think that what you are doing in Africa will make your nations grow or be successful, you are getting it wrong. Because in the long run, your nations will plunge into chaos and insecurity. You don't know what you are doing to yourselves. You don't know what you are doing to yourselves. You don't know what you're doing to yourself. You don't know what you're doing to yourselves. So if you think that you want to stay under that auspices of that name, United Nations, which is of course united common interest for stealing and plundering Africa, that's what it means. There's nothing like United Nations. It is just a united front for plundering Africa, a united front for plunder. United notion for stealing. United notion to steal. That is what it is. And now you are looking for a new idea which you are going to use in covering your thieving program, but letting the narrative continue. That means a new agenda that will help you brainwash the people not to see that you are actually stealing from them, but you are stealing from them, and yet they are not knowing it. That's what you're looking for. This week, the lockdown will begin in Biafra land. We are asking your United Nations to do the right thing. But if you want us to continue with our narrative, we tell you we're going to do it. God is the one giving it to us. Nobody is giving us Biafra. You can't even give us Biafra. But you have the opportunity to do the right thing. United Nations, you have the opportunity. Not every nation, not many nations are not part of United Nations, of course. Every nation of the world, we are calling upon you. You have the opportunity to do the right thing. And that right thing is to demand for referendum for the indigenous people trapped in the contraption. If you refuse to do the right thing, the repercussion will come to you. You are going to face the consequences, but we are still going to get our freedom because we are determined to get our freedom because God has given us the opportunity and have decided that we go for our freedom. So don't think that if you don't act, we are still going to be in subjugation and you're going to continue to gain. No. You are going to lose because we are going to still gain. So it is an opportunity for you to come up, you nations of the world, wherever you are, presidents and governments of the world. It is an opportunity now, just like Finland is speaking up. It is an opportunity now for you to speak up so that you can support the indigenous nations trapped in the contraption to be free. We are only giving you an opportunity. God is giving you an opportunity to be part of this history. God is giving you these nations, the nations of the world, an opportunity to be part of the history. But if you refuse to be part of the history and demand for referendum, you are still going to go down because God is going to carry out judgment on your nations. But God is going to still give us what you're going to get because you cannot, our freedom does not depend on you. Our freedom does not depend on you. And that is my message for the United Nations. This is what we're going to be preaching this week until the lockdown begins. But we're giving you the opportunity to do what you have to do right now so that you can become part of the progress and the success all over the nations of the world. I'm going to go to the messages now to see your messages and to know, the things you're saying. Thank you so much, Maureen's Channel TV. Thank you for the message. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Good evening from my location. Thank you. Good evening to you also. Josh Ogolo D. Freedom is here now, not tomorrow. Yes, freedom is here. And that's what we are preaching. And that's what we're saying. We're here, George. Thank you so much, George. I appreciate you guys for being here. More on TV said we move, no going back. We are not going back. And we are standing firm and solidly behind Simon Ekpa and the freedom movement, those who are true and genuine in this movement. And I tell you that everyone who is genuine and free will enjoy the benefits. But if you are in this thing and you are in it for your selfish purpose, you are in it for your selfish end, you are not going to enjoy Biafra. That's the truth. So anybody who is coming for the freedom of Biafra must come with a clean hands and must come with that heart that is straightforward and believing that you're coming to do the right thing. And what you're coming to do is not for ulterior motives. So that is what we're doing today. And we are believing that we are going to get our freedom because Chukwokike has granted us, Elohim has granted us that opportunity. Morality channels, you say, praise God, Biafra Republic is here. Shame on the devil. Yes, Shame on those who don't want it to happen. Share and share. Please share and invite people to watch. Share this on all your social media platforms. Let the people get this message today and let them send it far and wide to the nations of the world where people need to get this message and know what we are saying to the United Nations today. Biafra to the world said, long time, my brother. It's been a long time because I've not been seeing you. That is why. Ugomba says, interesting prelude. Okay, talking about the prelude to this program. Good. Keep it up. Thank you so much, my brother. Yes, I'll keep it up. Biafra to the world. Thank you for that. All hail Biafra. Thank you so much. And God save Chinedu. Thank you. All hail Biafra. And all must hail Biafra. Thank you so much. Adazion says, good afternoon, bros. Ezem, Kelechi. Another day of great expectations. Yes, another day of great expectations. And we are closer. We are getting closer to our freedom. We are going to lock down Biafra land from Thursday. Biafra land will be locked down. We'll be on lockdown. We're going to lock down Biafra land. We are saying no to election because election can never solve any of the problems. We have been telling the United Nations these facts about the problems that we have. Yet they decide to bring election observers, but we're making them understand that what we need are people who are going to come to observe referendum observers, not election observers. So they have to change that name and conduct that referendum supervised by them. That is what we believe in, and that's what we're calling on. And so as we end Nigeria, this is an expedient message to the United Nations. You have to rise up, bring referendum observers. I know that you want anything to happen, whether you want chaos so that you can sell your weapons or whatever happens, you will gain. You are not going to gain. You are not going to gain. Just know this. So it's better you do the right thing now. We stand for truth always. Mrs. Adazion says, and yes, that is what we stand for always. My sister from the Biafra and from the Oduduwa nation say, good afternoon, guys. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Ogumbi Diana, thank you for that message. Adazion says, Labour Party collapsed into APC in the Northwest. This is all planned. They can't fool those of us that stand for all that is true. Yes, they can fool us, but God is working in all of these things to bring about the freedom of the indigenous people. God is making them do the mistakes and carry out the mistakes and make them expose themselves. So all of these will turn to the fact that Biafra must come. And Biafra will come not by any man. It's going to come by Chukwuka. I tell you, the way Biafra is going to come is going to be surprising. You will know that it is God, not man. And that is it. Peace to the world. All empty words. We are not fools. They keep talking about peace, but yes, they don't have peace. They don't have what it takes to give peace because they are not instruments of peace. As much as you are not an instrument of peace, you cannot give peace. As long as Britain is not an instrument of peace, they can't give peace. As long as United Nations is not an instrument of peace, they were only designed for partitioning Africa to themselves and stealing the resources of Africa. And as long as that is the notion, that means they are not instruments of peace. Therefore, they can't give peace. And that's the fact. Chukwuka Dibia, thank you. Good evening from my side. Kelechi and Prince Ezem. Thank you so much, my brother. Chukwuka Dibia, for that. Good evening to you too. Diana says there is one thing, what you don't have, you can't give. They don't have what it takes to give peace. They are not instruments of peace, so they can't give peace. Give, you can take. You can't give. You can only give what you have, just creating problems all over the world. And that's what they are doing, creating problems all over the world with their stupid agenda, stealing from the nations of the world and all of that. And listen to any politician, blah, 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 listen. I don't know why you guys will come out with this narrative. If not, elders, Ihenacho, join forces regardless with EMSC. I don't know why you're bringing this narrative here. Who is telling you that we're not in force? Who is telling you that we're not working together? Let's stop all these kind of issues and always talking about issues. Biafra is for us all. If we have differences, doesn't mean that we're not working together. So we are working together to get Biafra. So Lino, let me tell you your message. There's no need for this message talking about, if not Kelechi and Elder in nature, join force regardless with MSC to restore Biafra. We are not at loggerheads. We are only having differences, but that doesn't mean that we are at loggerheads. For the fact that I see something wrong and I say what is wrong, or we see what has gone wrong and we say what is wrong, does not mean we are at loggerheads. We only want things to work well. That is it. So let's not always misinterpret things. Lino Benson, let's not always misinterpret things to say that they're quarreling, they're fighting. No, we should understand there's a place of constructive reasoning. When you are even in your family, sometimes you have misunderstanding. No, this thing you are doing is not right. And then you resolve the issues and you move on. That is how it is. It will happen anywhere, even in organizations. There will always be a time when we look at issues, we say, no, this is not right, this is right, and all of that. And we correct and we move on. That's how it is. So there's no division, there's no loggerheads. That's why we're still talking about Biafra. Our main purpose is to get Biafra. And that is it. Biafra belongs to us all. And we must make sure that the Biafra we are chasing and pursuing after is the Biafra that does not have the spirit of Nigeria. Because if we decide to keep quiet on wrongs and we don't want to talk about what is going wrong, we want to pretend as if nothing is going wrong when we see them going wrong, and you don't want to talk about them. And when we talk about them, you say we are bringing quarrels, you are bringing fighting, you are fighting what you cannot win, and all of that. All those things are unnecessary, because what we want to achieve is because we have the interest of Biafra, and what we are looking for is that we get a Biafra that does not have the spirit of Nigeria. Once we have a Biafra that has the spirit of Nigeria, forget it, we are done for. So we are putting hands together to make sure we don't have the spirit of Nigeria in Biafra. And that is why when we see something wrong, we're going to say it, and we'll continue to say it. We can never rescind our stance on peace by speaking the truth, because peace only comes when truth is evident. Peace is an instrument, and truth is the fundamental instrument unto peace. Peace is a byproduct of truth. You have to understand that. So understand that, Lino Benson, there's no chaos, there's no commotion. So let's stop all this narrative. When people come online, you begin to talk about join forces. No, we are joining forces, and that is why we are doing and playing our role in our corner to see that the right thing is done. That's why we are joining forces. So understand that. Blessing Chuku, UK government have reduced themselves to nothing because of resources. Same to them. And they have reduced themselves to nothing because they have already exposed themselves that they are not truthful. For the fact that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is locked up, and they have allowed him to continue in the dungeon, being a citizen of the United States, of Britain, of UK, and all of that, and yet they are saying nothing about it, then that means that they are not true. That means they are living in lies, and they are very wicked. And of course, exactly, Noelin is saying, Noelin Odiambo, to a particular preaching of Prince Ezem at that time. So you are concurring to that by saying exactly. Chi Ebuka says, well done, Mazi Kelechi. Thank you so much, Chi Ebuka. I appreciate you for that. And Stella Uzuka says, God Almighty, grant us our heart desires in Jesus' holy name. Amen, amen, and amen. He said, I agree to you with that. And every Biafran is saying, he said, now patience. Akwan says, good evening, my brother. What happened? Because I like what you are doing now. What happened before? Because I don't see you join Auto Media team joining meeting. Oh my God, our people. Well, let me say you're concerned about that. But anyways, I'm not always. I shouldn't join there for you to know that we are still together doing the same thing. As long as what I'm preaching here is the same thing they are preaching, and we are all preaching, we are on the right track. We must not come together on a particular platform together to talk before we are talking about our freedom. Just know that we are together. As long as we are talking about Biafra, we are talking about Simon Ekpa and support for Simon Ekpa, support for Biafra people, support for ESN, support for the movement, and making sure that Simon Ekpa succeeds as much as he has given his words to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, putting hands together to make sure it works. That alone should make you satisfied and give you that satisfaction that we are together. It is not until I come or any of us join, and we have many people on the media space that are doing their works. We have many of them doing the work and sponsoring the freedom of Biafra and talking about the freedom of Biafra. They are not on the joint media program. They are not always coming there. And does this mean that they are not real? Does it mean they are not genuine? No, they are doing the work. We have to do the work from our corners. Those who can do it by joint media can do it. Those who can do it by being alone can do it. That is how it runs. So as long as we are saying the same thing and we are focused on the same program, it is fantastic. Let's leave all those sentiments and focus on the truth. Once you see somebody doing something real and genuine, and you can attest by your soul and by your spirit that this person is genuine, forget about whether they belong to autopilot or not. That's not the program. As long as they are doing the real thing and the genuine thing, they are already autopiloted, even if they may not be working with the mainstream program under the autopilot. But as long as they are doing the right thing and genuine thing, and they are on the path of truth, they are autopiloted. Because the program of Biafra and the freedom of Biafra now is autopiloted, whether you belong to the mainstream autopilot or not. Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said it already, that we are already on the autopilot mode. And now the enemies now give us the name autopilot. So they also are on autopilot, because everything the enemies are doing now is conducted and constructed and designed and also regulated by the autopilot spirit. So everything that is happening right now is autopiloted because it is a program that has already been designed by God to give us freedom. So nobody is going to say, I am the one who brought Biafra. It is God, because it is autopiloted. That's why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said it is now autopiloted. So everything you see happening right now is the design of the autopilot program. I want you to understand that. So that's it. My brother Mbadiwe says, those who do not know Most High God and obey him do not know peace and will remain without peace. That's the truth. That's the fact. You must know the Most High God. The United Nations are working on their own deceit and imagination. So they don't know the Most High God because they have decided to plunder Africa and God have decided to free Africa. And so they have to work according to the design and the program of God for them to know peace, or else they are damned. Samson Cielo says, imagine. I think I was saying something before you said imagine, all right? The impunity is obvious, Samson Cielo says, and it's very obvious impunity, very obvious. Everybody can smell it, can feel it, can even touch it. You can even touch the impunity. Very, very horrible, but God is in control, and we're here. Mercy Nwala, good to have you. Good evening, Mazi Kelechi. Thank you so much, Mercy Nwala. Thank you. I appreciate you. Olakunle, my Oduduwa brother, thank you so much for joining, and I appreciate the love to you too. Thank you so much for being here. I love to see my Oduduwa people, around. I love them so much. Thank you so much. Anolera. I've called the name the way I don't want to call it. Alenora. Sorry for calling it the way. Oh Lord have mercy. I don't know why I have to perfect this. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to take a full day to rehearse your name so that I don't miss it. I'll just be going on the road. Alenora. When people are calling me, when people greet me, I just wave my hand, Alenora, so that I don't forget it. Hi, Casey. Thank you so much, Alenora. Good to have you. Thank you so much. You're saying something here. You said, oh, sorry for yesterday. I was all over the place. It was media war. Oh, okay. I understand. Of course, I understand. Thank you so much, Alenora, for that. Unacceptable, very unacceptable. Talking about the United Nations and their ploy and their designs. Yes, unacceptable. Something Cielo says British knows what they did in Nigeria. That's why they left EU. They don't want EU to interfere in their evil agenda against Nigeria. That's it. But we are going to destroy Nigeria, and we'll destroy it. Chukwokike will destroy it, and it will not be identified anymore. The indigenous people will come out strong and safe. We have the message from, and from Neolin Odiambo, the message: they do not want to hear our cry, but want you to write. What a word. That is it. They want to, because they know that when they tell you to partake, you will be consoled. Before you know it, you write. They now tell you they are working on it. Before you know it, your generation passes. Another generation comes. They will now begin to sell the same narrative, playing here back and forth. And then they tell that generation to write. That generation also writes. They play the game until that generation dies and everybody goes. Another generation comes up. They come again and write. We want peace, want new agenda, peace. Everything would be deceit upon deceit. That's what it is. But we know the trick. So this time around, we say, no, we're not going to work by their program. We have given them the opportunity to show themselves and to prove themselves, as much as they are making us believe that they are there for peace, but they have not been able to do that. So we are not going to allow them anymore. We are taking our destinies in our hands. Alenora says, first, fire UK first. They violated their citizens' human rights. Yes, that's it. That's it. The fire will come on UK first, and that's it. I didn't know that ancestors talk. Of course, ancestors talk, and they speak through our actions. They speak through us. Thank you so much, Alenora, for that. Ancestors speak, and they speak through us. They speak through our actions. The spirits speak through us, because everything has been programmed in the realm of the spirit before it comes to the physical. So that's the fact. Mercy Nwala says, me thinking that UN is 70% Arab country, indeed, indirectly monitored and manipulated by Britain. Even Britain have become an Arab country. If you don't know, Britain is not the Muslims all over controlling their affairs and everywhere. So they have become, Islamic nation, and of course, Islam the Arabs own Islam. So they had already gone, to that angle. They have left the love of Christ, and they are now just have the Archbishop of Canterbury and all of that. They are just there deceiving themselves. That is why they can come and tell you that we are sorry for slavery, and yet they have refused to take the instrument of slavery from the people. How can you tell me you are sorry for slavery, and yet the instrument of slavery, which is Nigeria, you are still keeping it, using it to hold the people down? How sorry can you be? that you take what belongs to me and you're telling me sorry for taking it. And you are holding it, I'm seeing it in your hands. Give it back to me. You refuse to give it back to me and you're telling me sorry. That is hypocrisy in the highest order. And that is wicked. And that is, you're putting me under a mental torture. You're torturing me mentally. Because I need that thing. You're holding it. You're telling me sorry. I'm suffering because of what you're holding. You're telling me sorry. I am enduring my pains. I'm enduring the torture. I'm enduring the problem. And yet you are holding what will give me the solution. And you're holding it. You're telling me sorry. Keep enduring. Sorry. We're sorry for making you in this situation. We're sorry for making you be in this kind of critical situation. And you're holding what will give me relief. Give it to me. You refuse. You are more of my problem. And you are causing me more mental torture. Because that is wickedness, and that is what the United Nations and that's what Britain is doing right now. Eleanor says they should answer United interest. Yeah, that's United interest, United false interest, vague interest. That is what it is. Thank you so much, Eleanor, for that. Chief Okpara says, Kelechi, thanks for the good work you are doing for we Biafrans. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, my brother Chief Okpara, for that. And Mercy Nwala, correct. I think concurrent to something I said. All right, Eleonora says Bush said UN means unnecessary. Oh Lord have mercy. UN means unnecessary. That's very interesting, John. Laura, I would like to know when Bush said that. How come I've not heard it? Eleonora, if you can give me the link to that place, I would really want to get it and talk about that very well. Honestly, I would like to do a preaching on that particular thing, not necessary or unnecessary. I would like to, you know, United Nations unnecessary. Oh Lord have mercy. I think it's a whole preaching topic for me. My brother, go on. God is with you, Jones Laure. Thank you so much, Jones. I appreciate you. And I say to that declaration. Lenora says they shared Africa on a table. Chiri kam chiri. Yeah, that's what it is. The chiri kam chiri. I take. That's what it is. That's what they did. That's what they did. And they're coming to tell us about peace when you know how you caused the chaos. You divided us and caused the chaos. You divided and plundered the resources. You are the one who is causing the chaos. And you're telling us that you're talking about peace. You know, Ndewo One John Almeida says, thank you, Ndewo, my brother. Thank you so much for being here always. And John Almeida says, you dealt with that UN clip squarely. Well said. Thank you. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much, my brother. And I'm still going to talk more on that clip because there's so many things to expose in that clip also. Mercy Walla says a new agenda indeed. They are perfect cheats. They're cheats. Yes, they're perfect cheats. We're talking about new agenda. When we have given you the solution in the old agenda, you have not sent it forward. You know, Ashri, Koshri. Eleanor, and that's what they're doing. Just do the take. Just take. Everybody take your own. Take my own. That's it. Philo E says United Sweet Talkers and United Criminals. That end we need United something. United and United something. We need to give that name. That end still give it one kind of narrative. You know, maybe I'm going to look for a narrative for the next broadcast to put it through by tomorrow. You know, United Sweet Talkers and United Criminals. Philo E says that's what they are. But we're going to change that end to something that we need to have. Mr. Lauzuka just shedding the tears there about this criminality and the evil going on. Metsinwala says they should also know that we are not begging them. We have resolved in exiting Africa, and that's it. We're not begging them, but we're only giving them opportunity to join in this history making, so that it will be that peace they are talking about, they actually have seen the solution. But if they feel they don't want to follow that solution, they always want to look for a solution that will satisfy their greed and their stupidity and their wickedness, then we are going, and that their wickedness will be truncated by our exiting Nigeria. Everest Emedo says, good morning, Mazi Kelechi and Princess. Finland did not colonize any country, but it's one of the best economy in the world, and that's the truth. One of the best economy in the world. Lino Benson saying it is Biafra or Biafra, no matter whose horse is God. Okay, whose ass is God or horse is God. All right, good. Yes, that's it, Lino Benson. Thank you so much for that one. It is Biafra or Biafra. Prince Nkem says they use their trick they call democracy. That's it. That's the takia we're talking about. Democracy is takia in Africa. That's what it is. People don't know this. I'm going to still talk extensively about that, some other time. Democracy is takia. Maybe tomorrow or next, penultimate day, I'm going to talk about it, so that before we know why we are going on lockdown, people should get this sense of what is happening. Prince Nkem says democracy is fading. And that's it. It's fading because it is actually not there first. It has to be there in truth for it to remain. As long as it is not there in truth, it will fade because it will still open up the guise or the hidden thing. just like the angel and the Satan disguising like the angel of light. It will fade one day because he will express his wickedness. So what you are seeing is not actually democracy. It's actually evil disguised as democracy. So it will fade so that you can see the real evil, and then we are going to institute the real democracy when the time comes, which we have begun, and we are going to start by the lockdown this week. Robin Obi says we support from here, Mazi Kelechi. Thank you so much, Robin Obi. Thank you so much. We join hands and we support and we do what we do. Diana Ogumbiade says United Scammers, that is what they are, evil people. United Scammers, that's what they are. Messing while Prince Nkem. We never had a democracy. That's it. We never had it. It was just a deceit program, you know. Check its direct and indirect democracy. Okay, Prince Nkem says check it, direct and indirect democracy. We don't even have democracy in the first place. Prince Nkem in the zoo use indirect, I mean appointment to represent the people. You know, it is actually their stooges that they use in controlling the people. So there's no democracy. Everest Emedo says United Nations only act when the interest of America and Britain is threatened. That's why we say it is a selfish interest. It is just for their interest. That's why they call it United Nations. United in evil, united in deceit, united in corruption, united in plundering Africa. That's what they are. That's what it is. Perot says God bless you, my big brother. Okay, God bless you, Perot. That's what you want to say. God bless you too, my brother. Thank you so much for that. Dollar Fox says it's 13 days to go. Dollar Fox, it's been a while. Good to have you again today. Thank you. I know you always watch anyways. Good to have you. Something Cielo says they even killed their brother called Jesus and brought his image and Bible for Africa in order to enslave it. and steal. Okay, I want to say steal from Africa. The more, oh my God, Israel didn't bring Jesus to us. It is Britain that brought Jesus to us. But Britain brought it in the concept of religion so that they can steal from us. But that doesn't mean that Jesus is actually the game to deceive, or Jesus is actually the deceit. No, it is the concept that they brought out of the story of Jesus, or the truth about Jesus, that is being used to deceive the people and used to manipulate and put the people under slavery. And that's why we know better. We accept Jesus as our Lord, but we know the real fact about the real Jesus and the Jesus of the British, which is the Jesus of slavery, of religion. We know the difference. So thank you so much, my brother, for that. And that is something Cielo for that. And Prince Nkem says, so they use that to subjugate us, thereby ruling us indirectly. That's it. That's what they did. And that's what they are doing and still doing. Dollar Fox says, Umo Biafra, we are going home. Oh, yes, so we are going home. Thank you so much, Dollar Fox, for that. Obizwe says, Obizwe Mike says, victory is sure, we're going home. Yes, victory is sure and certain, we are going home. And Mary K says, Lord Almighty bless you, Kelechi. Thank you very much for your good works in Biafra restoration. Thank you so much, Mary K. I appreciate you too. Thank you for always being here too, Mary K. God show himself strong on the behalf of Biafra restoration, which is overdue. It is just overdue, and God will show himself. Chukukabibia says, Kelechi, please don't reply those people now. All right, I won't. I just needed to clarify those stuff, because I don't know why we would always want to talk about things that are not there. You know, we always want to see issues. We want to believe that there are issues somewhere when there are no issues. No problem. I won't talk about it again, but I just have to clarify that. Ndu Ebere says, well done, brother. Thank you so much, Ndu Ebere. Thank you. And thank you. Alenora Okoro is laughing because of what I said initially. So let me look at the real correction now. Alenora. Yes, Alenora. I got it correct now. I won't bite my tongue again. Thank you so much for giving me that strategy of getting it right. Alenora. Ifeanyi Naji, so sorry I came late, my brother. Good to have you anyways. Of course, you're going to watch it again from top so that you can get the whole message from here, and then share to all social media platforms. Please, as you watch this, share on all your social media platforms. Like the video, so when people look at it and they see the likes, they see the number of likes, they want to watch it and know, why do people like this video? They want to hear, they want to listen, and then get the view here right now. And of course, share it around so that it can reach the United Nations. We have to share this and make it go far and far and far. And please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed, so that we can have a larger audience and a larger ground on YouTube to reach out to the nations of the world from this hallowed platform where the truth is preached. America says, by God's power, Biafra is already here by God's grace. He said, and that's it. It's God that is bringing it, not man. So it is here. And Mercy Wallace says, unity is super strength. Unity is super strength. Yes, that's it. Unity is super strength. And that's what we need at this time to go on to do what we have to do. Igwe Munoha says, God bless you, my brother. Thank you so much, Igwe Munoha. Thank you. I appreciate you for that. Mr. Chengbong, Chibog, or Chebog. Mr. Chebog, this sounds China. A full-fledged attack is needed against the zoo at this time. Please, guys, let's keep up the tempo. We are keeping it up, and we're accelerating further. Of course, Nigeria must go down for Biafra to come. Pero, thank you so much. Nigeria must go down, and that's the truth. Eleonora says, United Nicodemedos. Oh my God! So, are you talking about Nicodemus or Nicodemedos? You know, because we have to understand the perspective here. Oh my God! Nicodemus only doubted. You know, he came to Jesus at night in John chapter 3. He came to Jesus at night. So at least he came to get the truth. But the United Nations, they don't want to have the truth. They don't want to believe in the truth. So we have to change that. We have to give them a particular name for that end, you know, something that befits them very well. Ndu Ebere says Trump calls UN social club. And that's the correct thing, honestly. United Notorious. You know, United Notorious. Notorious is an adjective. It will not balance. We need a word that is a noun that will balance it, not an adjective, because putting an adjective there will not give a balance there. I gave you an United Never. United Never. Never united. Wow, that's interesting. That's beautiful. United Never. United Never. But United Never. Never united. I wish the N comes before the U. But let's still look for a particular name that will change that N, give it something that will stand, that will sit very well with us, you know, so that it can go very well. You know, Uji Ndukwe says that's no democracy. There's no democracy in Nigeria. That's it. There's no democracy. Ikenna, Ikenna says, greetings, comrade. Thank you so much, Ikenna. Aja is someone. Oh Lord have mercy. Let me not bite my tongue, please. I beg you, my brother. I'll call you only by Ikenna. Thank you so much. God bless Biafrans. Thank you, Ikenna. And that's the last message here. I want to appreciate you guys. Please share this and let this message get to the United Nations and all the nations of the world and the nations where they are. And wherever you are, also you can make sure that the people in those nations get this message so that they can send it to their their own people. They can send it to their to the members of their House of Representatives, and so that it can go far and go. Oh Lord have mercy. Lino Benson says the world is scared of Biafra. Germany, Japan, and Israel is in one. Yeah, they can't stop the hand of Elohim. Period. Thank you so much, Lino Benson, for that. They can't stop the hand of Elohim. And Alenora has just given us one interesting one. United Nuisance. Lord have mercy. That is it. United Nuisance. Oh my God, this sits very well. I think this sits very well. Honestly, it sits very well. United Nuisance. United Nuisance. United Nuisance. I think it sits. United. I wish we can also have something that spells of criminality. United criminals. But United Nuisance sits because they are nuisance. And when we now dig into the facts of them being nuisance, we now know that they are criminals, and that is it. And all of that. And of course, don't you think nuisance is even very soft for them, because what they are doing is worse than what a nuisance does. So let's still think, let's reason. We are intellectuals here. We're not Nigerians, so we're intellectuals. So I know we're going to get the right thing here. And Mary says, God bless our brother Prince. You are blessing to Biafrans. We shall all celebrate together the joy of Biafra independence. Thank you so much. And Prince Ezem has heard, of course, he's listening. So, and he's got that message from you, Mary K. Thank you. Edu Abda Biafra says, in Dewo Mazi, we all have started hailing Biafra. Yes, so we have started hailing Biafra. Thank you, Edu Abda Biafra. Thank you, Edu Abda Biafra. Good to have you here again. Also, Samson Cielo says, may be United Nigeria, but it will never work. No, it can be United Nigeria. Nigeria can never be united, because in the first place, Nigeria is not united. Nonsense. United nonsense. But I want something that is stronger than nonsense or nuisance, that spells out their criminality. United nonsense is cool. United nuisance is cool, but these things are light words. Yes. But we want something that will spell out their criminality. United negativity. Oh Lord have mercy. Oh my. Alenora, you're getting some strong ones here. The noun negativity. Is cool. It's cool. Negative. United negativity. What if we find something that will make it criminal? Something that will make it criminal here. Edu, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Edu. Ada Biafra, good. I like that. You know, this is your muscle. This one, if you get to Nigeria, you don't. 3 of these, just 3 blows like this as you send them here, and I'm saying Nigeria don't go down. In fact, 3 like this don't take Nigeria down. Thank you so much, Ada Biafra. Thank you so much for that. Good to have you, Onyi. 2023 blessings, Biafrans. I've been expecting your message. Good to have your message here, and thank you so much for your message. We have another message from Senator Endless. There's nothing united about Nigeria. Nigeria is united iniquity. Oh Lord, oh la la. United iniquity. That's it. United. In fact, the iniquity. Oh Lord, have mercy. We're talking about United Nations anyway. That's what we're looking at. You know, United Nations. We're talking to United Nations today. So, Emmanuel of forces United Nigeria. You know, we want a UN. That's United Nations. We want that end. That end. We want something that will spell out their criminality in serious terms. That when you look at a united something, it gives you their criminality. It spells out their criminality. Because they have divided Africa, stealing from us, and they call themselves United Nations. And now they're telling us to bring more programs that would help them cover their atrocities, and so that you will not know that they are still stealing from you, and you will think that you are now having peace. That's what they're looking for, you know. So United Iniquity, yes, Senator Endless. United iniquity, but that N, we want something that to spell out the N. United Nations, United Dome, and Noelin is saying United Dome. So let's look for something that will spell out that N, that befits that United Nations very well as criminal organization, which you know which has been all this while. We must be free from the zoo this year. We say, okay, Chuko, thank you so much for that. We shall be free from the zoo, and we shall. Edu Ada Biafra says, that's it. Thank you so much, Edu, for that. And let me see what Nelena said. United Naferos. Naferos. Naferos is an adjective. It does not make it sit. We want a noun that will make it sit. You know, that will make the clause very effective. Naferos, you know, Naferos, of course, is a very strong word, you know, but we want something that will make it really United Nightmare. Oh my God. Lord have mercy. United Nightmare. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is interesting. United Nightmare. Oh my God. United neglectful. Eleanor, don't kill me here, please. United neglectful. United flood. UF. You're talking about UF. Ada Biafra. It's UN we want, not UF. United flood. We want UN. Eleanor says United Notorious. You have mentioned it before. we want you know, something that is a noun that will make it sit. United Naughty. If you say naughty is too mild, it's too soft. We want an N, a word that has N, that talks about criminality, that spells out the criminality so hard. United something. United. I'm going to sit down very well to get. I want you also to think. Maybe later you have to think, and later we're going to have this, you know, somewhere. So we can use that as a narrative to send to them a strong word that we know what they are and what they represent. They have to retrace their steps to begin to chase after the peace of the world by supporting Biafra and supporting the lockdown, rather than supporting and asking for referendum, rather than talking about election. We want referendum observers, not election observers. We have to make it go viral. #UN. We want referendum observers, not election observers. #referendum observers. UN. #UN. Send referendum observers. #UN. Send referendum observers, not election observers. That's what we want. United Nonsense. Something says United Nonsense. You know, Eleanor has already talked about that United Nonsense previously. You know, want something strong. United Doomed. Perot is talking about, you guys are changing that N to P and other words, but I mean other letters, but we want that N to continue. Only 2000 United India. We want an English word that they will understand. An English word, United Nonsense. Of course, we still want something that is stronger than this. United No Good. Ooh la la. Well, we'll get there as we keep brainstorming, you know, looking for the words. We're going to get the right word. Hi, Umu Chineke. Ma Gloria Matthias, good to have you here. Igwe says United Nicompoops. They are just fools. Nincompoop means fool. But we want something that talks about criminality. United Nomadic Fulani. Nomadic Fulani is even soft. It's even soft because nomadics are people who carry cattle around. We want a word that speaks of their criminality. Nuisance is good, but it doesn't speak of criminality. We want something that speaks of criminality. United Nothing. Yes, nothing is good because it speaks of that. But let me see what the narco terrorists, narco terrorists, narco terrorists, narco terrorists. Yes, they're terrorizing us anyways. I think this is a very good one, because they're terrorizing us and it's a criminal thing. It's a criminal thing. Yes, it's a criminal thing. Yes, I like this. I think it's a good one. It's a good one. Alenora has given us a good word there. Narco terrorists and all of that, United Narco Terrorists. And of course, we're going to look into that and critically tomorrow. We're going to start on this. And yes, it's a criminal terror. Yes, I know it's a criminal terror. Yes, so definitely what they are doing to us is criminal and also terror. Yes, it's a good one. I like that. You just gave us the right thing. You see, that's why it's good to brainstorm. When we keep storming our brains, we'll get the right thing. And all of that. Nemeka's Nwigwe says, please inform the United Criminals that if they want peace, they should start preparing for referendum, not election. That's it. Thank you so much for that submission, Nemeka. I said Nemeka. Yes, Nemeka, yes. Yes, Nemeka, yes. Nemeka, don't mind me. Anyway, thank you so much for that submission. That's what they should prepare for, referendum, not election. It is referendum. That's where the peace begins from. Narco terrorist is very cool with me. United Nasty. It doesn't give a strength, a strong, a strong word. We want a strong word. And and let me play the issue of that stuff of that woman again, so that people who just joined can listen.
I want to seek your help with an important initiative, the development of a new agenda for peace. Achieving lasting peace is why the United Nations was created. But today, with the growing number of violent conflicts around the world and the deepening divisions among states, we're struggling to deliver on that promise. We are preparing a new agenda for peace to help chart a path forward, to help rebuild multilateral action for peace. We want to hear your priorities and suggestions, your ideas on how we can address the threats we are facing, and on how UN member states can come together to build collective responses. We encourage civil society groups and representatives from around the world to submit your ideas to the email address newagendaforpeace@un.org in any of the 6 UN official languages. Your participation is essential. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
So many things wrong with what they're asking for. So many things wrong with everything the woman was talking about, because she's talking about the United Nations members and members, those, of course, referring to the permanent members, so the member states of the United Nations and what they want. It is their interest, their own interest. That's what they want. So I would, by tomorrow, maybe I'm going to still come in this perspective, to talk about this more, so that our people can have more information. We're going to look at how the United narco terrorists Lenora gave to us, and then we're going to also have more people bring more words. I can see Pero here, United Nasty. Biafra says United Mafia. That's you have changed it to M instead of N, so Mafia may not go because it's supposed to be N, not M. UN, United Nations. United Gangster, you have turned it to G. Chukukadibia has turned it to G. We want that N to be there, not any other letter, but that N. Senator Endless says United non-entity. United non-entity. United non-entity. Well, we want something that speaks of criminality, which Alenora has given to us. So we are going to run on that narrative, and tomorrow we're going to continue on this. So on this note now, look at my brother Senator Endless says United Nama. Oh my God. Anyways, we're going to continue in this narrative tomorrow. We're going to continue on this because we want to speak to the United Nations. This is the time they have to rise up to do the right thing. This is the time they have to rise up and do the right thing. We don't want election observers. We want referendum observers. That's what we're asking for. Abuchi Mwafo, thank you so much for your message. I hail you, Brother Kelechi. Thank you so much, my brother. I hail you too. Thank you for joining. Emmanuel of Force says United non-entity. We're still saying the same thing. United nuisance. We'll still say Abuchi of also says that. But tomorrow we're going to continue on this narrative. We have to close now. We have to finish now because already 2 hours. I didn't know we're going to go this far today. So for 2 hours, but it's good. Anyways, at least we're interacting. United Fulani. You have changed it to F. We want N. UN, not UF or UG, U anything. UF. No, you know. John Almeida say noun thief. Which one is noun thief now? Which word is that in grammar? Noun thief. Which grammar? Where did you get this grammar from, my brother? Oh my God. Abuchi says, United Fulani. Chipu Kadibia says, United Fulani. They're not Fulanis, and you are using F instead of N. You know, United Nemesis. Nemesis is not a criminal word. We want a criminal word. United Nikompu. Nikompu means fool. So we want a criminal word, you know, a criminal word that's a very criminal, just like what Eleanor has given to us. Very, very solid criminal word that takes it all. You know, I think that goes for now. I think that's the highest. For what Eleanor has given to us, it seems to be the prevailing word now, and that the one that goes with us now. So we're going to go, you know, with that, unless we have another one that comes with them. You know, a harder word, you know, she said narco terrorists. So United narco terrorists, let me look for it again and place it here. And so that you can understand narco terrorist, narco terrorist. Okay, so yes, you know, that's it. Narco terrorists. So I think that's the word that goes with the strongest of criminality here. So we go with that right now. So for now, we go with that and look forward to seeing what we're going to do tomorrow. Now, thank you so much, all. I appreciate you guys for being here and for your contributions and for your messages and sending forth your messages. Tomorrow, we're going to continue under this. We're going to be speaking to United Nations because this is the time to speak to them so that they would now begin to do the right thing. Because now we are going into our freedom, we must get them alerted at all times. We must make sure we keep them alerted so that it won't be that we didn't say anything. So that on our platforms, just like Simon Ekpa is doing and other people are doing, calling on the United Nations, we are doing it here too. So from the mouth of 1-2 witnesses, the truth is established. So many words coming, but I have to close here now. I would have loved to be reading what we're posting, you know, but because of time, we have to finish it here and look forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow by God's grace, 5 p.m. Biafra time or so, we're going to be here again. 5 p.m. Biafra time, and do the needful. Not 4 p.m. We're going to be here 5 p.m. Biafra time tomorrow to do the needful. So prepare yourself for tomorrow. We're going to continue under this anointing. You know, lots of words coming in, but I can't read them now because of time. So see you tomorrow. I appreciate you guys for contributing and for you know, Eleonora has given us a strong word, and others are, you know, other words that we're saying here are very funny, you know, and all of that. You know, they are very funny. But anyways, we move with the truth. And we stand for the truth. And I know you are standing for the truth. Wherever you are, please share this video, like it, forward it on all your social media platforms. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. And keep circulating the gospel of truth. And so that we can all, you know, be enjoyed. See, there's nothing like having a nation of truth. I am telling you. This is what my heart desire. Oh, Lord have mercy. Help us. We want to go home. I tell you, Biafra will be the best nation in the world. I tell you, this is what the nations of the world are afraid of. You can imagine your gift, my gift, we coming together with one voice, with one heart, with that intention of good conscience, of the right thing to be done. We would have a sane nation, we would have a developed nation, technologically, morally, and otherwise. I tell you, with the way we are going for Biafra, we are going to have the best. And this is our desire. So that is what we have to pursue. Please, in your corner, seek to do the right thing because we want to have a nation that is of God's heart. Just like God says, you know, call David a man after his heart. You know, God will call Biafra a nation after my heart. That's our intention and that's our desire. Thank you so much, all. I love you all. Thank you all for your messages. I thank you all. I thank you all. I appreciate you guys. God bless you very good. And stay safe, stay strong. Please remember, keep informing the people. Lockdown from Thursday, 23rd. And we shall continue in that narrative tomorrow. Thank you so much. And God bless you very good.